It's midnight and you're tuned into Nightline with me, Natasha Busst. The top stories. Navy procurement projects. MACC seizes 2 hotels worth 2 million ringgit in senior Navy officer probe. And pig farming. Selangor scraps plans in Bukit Tagar. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, has seized 2 hotels valued at 2 million ringgit owned by a senior Royal Malaysian Navy officer. A source from the anti-graft agency said the investigation also led to 21 bank accounts being frozen in connection with allegations of corruption in the procurement of Royal Malaysian Navy projects. The frozen accounts consist of 7 corporate and 14 individual accounts containing about 700,000 ringgit. Apart from the 2 hotels, the senior Navy officer is suspected of owning 3 houses and 3 shop lots. The probe found that suspicious deposits totaling 2 million ringgit reportedly entered the officer's personal accounts and 2 accounts owned by the hotel companies. On Saturday, it was reported that a senior Navy officer and a company director had been remanded until January 29th for investigations related to the case. An MACC source said the senior officer was suspected of recommending and appointing a crony company to obtain contracts at his workplace, while the company director was suspected of being an accomplice. Both suspects were believed to have colluded in these activities from 2017 to 2020. MACC Intelligence Division Senior Director Datuk Saiful Ezral Arifin confirmed the developments, saying investigators have recorded statements from 7 people. After being charged with 4 counts of corruption, the 3rd wife of former Army Chief Tan Sri Muhammad Hafizuddin Jantan, Salwani Anwar, was once again brought to court. On Monday, Salwani faced a charge at the Kuala Terengganu Sessions Court of receiving 5,000 ringgit in proceeds from illegal activities. The 27-year-old accused pleaded not guilty after the charges were read before Judge Muhammad Azhar Othman. Salwani allegedly received 5,000 ringgit in proceeds from illegal activities, which was deposited into her bank account. The offence is said to have been committed at a bank branch in Kerteh near Busst on January 16, 2025. The court allowed this case to be heard together with 4 other charges at the Kuala Lumpur court and maintained a 30,000 ringgit bail in line with the previous decision. On Thursday, Salwani was charged at the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court on 4 counts of corruption involving a total of 77,000 ringgit. Hafizuddin also pleaded not guilty to 6 charges of receiving proceeds from illegal activities amounting to over 2.26 million ringgit. In another development, police have recorded statements from a number of military officers in connection with the dissemination of information on social media in relation to strategic appointments in the armed forces. Defence Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Khalid Nordin declined to disclose the number of officers involved, only saying that they were questioned after his ministry lodged a police report last week over an alleged information leak.
Polis masih lagi lakukan siasatan dan saya percaya bila dia telah selesai, tentunya dia akan buat tindakan-tindakan yang sewajarnya.
Khalid was commenting on the development of the investigation into the dissemination of confidential information regarding the exchange of Malaysian Armed Forces officers involving names and positions. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister has called for the establishment of a special task force to strengthen the national audit system in an effort to curb public fund leakages and abuse of power at all levels of the government. According to Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, this includes ensuring that audit processes are carried out promptly, as any delays could create opportunities for leakages to occur. Anwar said this in his speech during the National Audit Department's 120th anniversary celebration in Putrajaya on Monday. He explained that the system needs to be enhanced to curb issues of fund misappropriation, abuse of power, and leakages that weigh heavily on the nation.
Negara mesti diselamatkan. Dan di antara cara dan kaedah menyelamatkan ialah memastikan sistem pengauditan itu canggih dan menyeluruh. Sebab itu dalam beberapa tahun, 2-3 tahun ini, kita beri ruang yang semaksimal mungkin menerobos kepada semua jabatan dan sistem. Asalkan tertakluk kepada peraturan dan undang-undang.
Anwar added that the implementation of audit findings must also reach the grassroots to prevent confusion and anxiety among the public.
Itu saya ingin menggesa rakan-rakan di sini untuk tentukan pamannya audit diteruskan tetapi mesti berorientasikan impak maksimal. Bukan sekadar menjalankan sebagai suatu budaya biasa tetapi supaya lebih berkesan dan hasil yang memberi manfaat kepada rakyat.
On the recovery of national assets lost to corruption and leakages, Anwar said the government will intensify its efforts. The Prime Minister emphasized that the total value of lost assets remains substantial compared to the 15.5 billion ringgit successfully recovered over the past 2 years.
Kalau tanya saya apakah ini mencukupi, saya tidak yakin jumlahnya itu 15.5 bilion. Maka kita terima cabaran ini. Kita sebagai keluarga, termasuk keluarga custom, terima cabaran ini. Bahawa kita mampu mengutip dana yang hilang, yang tiris, yang dicuri dan mampu menyelamatkan bangsa dan negara kita.
Anwar also congratulated the Customs Department for having collected 76.1 billion ringgit in revenue last year, marking a 16% increase compared with 2024. Such achievement represents a revenue growth of over 10 billion ringgit across 2 consecutive years. The department also successfully thwarted more than 7,000 smuggling attempts, with the value of seized goods and forfeited taxes totaling 1.9 billion ringgit. The Selangor state government is cancelling the pig farm project in Bukit Tagar after receiving strong objections from various quarters. Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Amiruddin Syari said the decision was made at the last EXCO meeting.
Sebenarnya sebelum PM maklum pada kita dalam hari Rabu, memang MMKN telah memberikan arahan kepada Yang Berhormat Datuk Izham untuk mencari alternatif kawasan kerana kita lihat ada bantahan keras di kawasan Bukit Tagar. Kemudian diikuti cadangan Perdana Menteri yang saya sambut baiklah.
Explaining further, he said the state government is now studying alternatives and other more suitable methods. Amiruddin admitted that the plan for the livestock project in Bukit Tagar was announced too early, causing controversy. While the reality is that the project has not started yet and the main objective is to handle the same livestock pollution in Tanjung Sepat.
Isunya di sini ialah kita nak tutup yang tercemar. Itu juga. Kita buat tak? Itu kita akan buat. Jadi nak absorb, nak cushion ni macam mana? Itu kita kena tangani. Jadi kita ikut nasihat PM sebab isu itu dah melampaui daripada hal sebenar dan realiti sebenar. Tak apalah, kita tangguh dan kita batalkan.
The issue of pig farming in Selangor arose after the Sultan of Selangor, Sharafuddin Idris Shah, had earlier expressed deep sadness over the matter and disagreed with the state government's plan to allow the farming operations in Tanjung Sepat to continue. Exco for Agriculture, Dato' Izham Hashim, then had an audience with the Sultan to inform the process of relocation to Bukit Tagar, which would be accelerated. Last Friday, Prime Minister Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim recommended that the project be cancelled or relocated to a more suitable location. Malaysia Airports Holding Berhad MAHB will announce the results of the Comprehensive Action Plan, also known as CAP, for the Aerotrain next week. The plan was implemented to restore the reliability of the Aerotrain system at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport, KLIA.
Sometime next week, we'll make some further announcement on the progress of it. So far, alhamdulillah, the consultant that we have appointed has given the report to us. We will share the report sometime next week, the outcome of that.
The CAP, which commenced on November 15, 2025, is spearheaded by MAHB with the full participation of joint venture contractors Alstom and IJMC Pestec, along with project consultants and independent technical assessors. Previously, the Transport Ministry reported at least 21 incidents involving the KLIA Aerotrain service. However, MAHB clarified that only 4 disruptions have occurred since operations resumed on July 1st. Earlier, the MAHB management team, led by its chairman Nungsari Ahmad Radi, paid a corporate visit to the Media Prima Berhad newsrooms. They were received by Media Prima Group Chairman Datuk Sri Dr. Syed Hussein Al-Junid, Group Managing Director Datuk Rafiq Razali, and Group Chief Financial Officer Rosli Sabarudin. Also present were Nini Yusuf, CEO of Media Prima Content and Television Networks and Primeworks Studios, Group Editor of News and Current Affairs Jaspant Singh, and his deputy Farah Naz Abdul Karim. The MAHB team was then given the opportunity to tour Media Prima's news studio operations and radio booths. MAHB also plans to further strengthen its collaboration with Media Prima to enhance Malaysia's international image at its airports.
It can be in all aspects, yeah. Promotion of airports, using the channel that Media Prima has, all the channels that you have.
Muhammad Izni added that the collaboration will help enhance the experience of international visitors in conjunction with Visit Malaysia Year 2026. Gold prices surged to a record high of 640 ringgit per gram on Monday. The increase comes as investors turn to safe haven assets amid rising geopolitical uncertainties. According to brokerage firm Capital.com, gold prices have risen more than 17% so far this year, following a crisis of confidence in U.S. administration and assets. The commodities price jumped 64% last year, supported by continued demand for safe haven assets and U.S. monetary easing. This was further bolstered by strong purchases from central banks, with China continuing its 14th consecutive month of gold buying in December. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim has expressed great gratitude over the ringgit's strong performance, reaching its strongest level in over 7 years. The national currency closed at 3.96 against the US dollar on Monday.
Alhamdulillah.
The ringgit opened at 3.9950 against the US dollar at 8 a.m. on Monday, strengthening from Friday's closing level of 4.0080. The local currency also gained more than 1% against the US dollar throughout the day. The ringgit also closed stronger against the Indonesian rupiah, Thai baht, and Singapore dollar. Now, according to UCSI University Malaysia's Associate Professor Liu Chi-Yong, the ringgit's strong performance could boost investor sentiment toward Malaysian equities, primarily by signaling greater macroeconomic stability and reducing currency risk.
So therefore, overall, the stronger ringgit functions less as a direct driver of equity gains and more as a confidence and valuation anchor, reinforcing investors' trust in Malaysia's macroeconomic direction while leaving longer-term market performance dependent upon productivity growth, earnings quality, and policy credibility rather than exchange rate movements alone.
The Singapore dollar climbed to its strongest level since October 2014 versus the greenback amid safe haven flows and with the nation's central bank expected to leave its policy settings unchanged this week. The Asian currency gained 0.4% to 1.2678 as the US dollar came under renewed pressure on speculation about potential US involvement in Japanese foreign exchange intervention. The Monetary Authority of Singapore, MAS, is expected to leave its exchange rate settings unchanged at its meeting on Thursday as core inflation remains steady. Rather than using interest rates as its main policy tool, the MAS focuses on the currency's nominal effective exchange rate, which it allows to move within a policy band. Woman killed in lorry car collision. This and more after this breather.
...2025 dah habis. Jom kita tengok 2026.
Hubungan kita bukan betul pun. So apa? Main-main je. Awak bukan sayang saya pun kan?
Tak payah nak ambil tahu pasal hidup orang boleh. Yang kau nak panas ni asal.
Dia pandai tau. Dia pandai malu.
Kalau nak nasihat, nasihat dengan hati.
Kenalkan, Nur. Orang penting dalam hidup Abang.
Sampai bila abang nak tidur bawah ni? Kalau abang takut, Aira boleh tidur dekat tengah.
Abang risau belakang saya sakit.
Kau dah cakap sangat pasal mak aku kan? Kau cakap depan biji mata aku lah.
Saya layan awak macam sampah. Tapi awak layan saya macam princess.
Walau sampai detik yang saya ada separuh nafas, saya tetap akan cintakan awak.
Mak, tak perasan ke? Ha? Muka dia tu macam tak suka kita datang.
Malam kau pergi mana? Aku call kau tak angkat. Mesej pun kau tak baca.
Tapi, walaupun kerja macam tu, diorang lolek tau.
Kalau bos nak, saya boleh tolong carikan kawan bos tu.
Sorry Cik Farah, saya nak pergi kat kereta ambil barang je.
Every time I see.
Kita buat muka dia jadi apa pun tak dapat.
Aku tak faham lah. Kenapa kau suruh aku tipu Fitida tu? Saya ingin mengucapkan
Selamat Tahun Baru.
Selamat Tahun Baru. Selamat Tahun Baru 2026 kepada semua penonton TV3.
Dan juga Tantan.
Dia very intense. Lepas tu saya duk menangis je lah. Memang nampak mata bengkak ni. Ya Allah, tak boleh nak tahan lah.
Sebagai orang filem, saya rasa cukup komplit. Dan apa yang membuatkan dia betul-betul meremukkan hati kita adalah kita tahu ini cerita betul.
Ya Allah, dia bermain dengan jiwa gila-gila punya.
Saksikan filem The Voice of Hin Rajab di pawagam yang berhampiran dengan anda.
Dengan setiap pembelian tiket, RM1 akan disalurkan ke tabung kemanusiaan Palestin di Prima.
In Kedah, a woman died after the car she was driving was involved in an accident with a lorry in Baling. The victim, 56-year-old Siti Rosita Baharum, was pronounced dead at the scene by medical personnel. In the 11 a.m. crash, rescuers found the victim trapped in the driver's seat and took nearly half an hour to extricate her body. The body was then sent to the forensic unit at the Baling Hospital. Baling District Police Chief Superintendent Brandon Richard Joe said that the lorry was traveling from Baling to Kulim while the victim was coming from the opposite direction. The lorry driver escaped the crash unharmed. The cause of the accident is still under police investigation. The case is being investigated under the Road Transport Act. The Kuala Lumpur High Court has stayed the enforcement of a 37 million ringgit plus judgment awarded to Pastor Raymond Koh's family over his abduction 9 years ago. Justice Mahazan Mat Taib held that there were special circumstances warranting a stay pending the disposal of the government's appeal at the Court of Appeal. The court held that if the stay was not allowed, it would expose the government to financial risk. The government sought to suspend the 37 million ringgit judgment on the grounds that it involved a large sum of public funds, which would be at risk if the government were to honor the payment while pursuing its appeal. The High Court ruled last year that one or more of the defendants, including current or former police officers, were involved in Koh's abduction and had acted under orders 9 years ago. The court ordered that a sum of over 33 million ringgit be entered against the government for the wrongful acts committed against Koh. However, the funds must be kept in a trust and cannot be dispersed directly to Koh's wife, Susanna Liu, and their 3 children until the pastor's whereabouts are determined. The court also ordered the award of 4 million ringgit in general and aggravated damages to Liu, along with 250,000 ringgit in costs. Historic winter storm kills at least 17 across the U.S. The details when Nightline returns.
Sekujur mayat yang sudah lebam tapi tidak diketahui jantina.
Keadaan si mati yang telah membusuk, yang mana dia ditinggalkan sedemikian setelah berhari-hari ditinggalkan.
Dan apabila dia bangun selepas 2 hari, dia nampak kawan dia iaitu mangsa masih berada di sana, baring di dalam rumah dia. Dan tertuduh nampak sebenarnya dia tidak bernafas pun.
Dulu awak yang cakap awak dah kahwin. Ingat tak? Awak tu sepatutnya fikir dulu sebelum sakit ke hati saya.
You are the reason I lost Damia.
Dia ni sebenarnya balas dengan boyfriend.
Mesti kerja makeup ini.
Confirm.
Bagi tahu papa siapa lelaki tu. Korang tak ada kerja ke? Ha? Aku ni punching bag ke? Dia jawab.
Jawab dong.
Tu suami dia, abang ipar saya, ni kakak saya.
My Stolen First Love, Jumaat dan Sabtu 9 malam di Lestari TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Pekerja asing curi identiti demi pekerjaan.
Kau guna je ini saya bagi dekat engkau sebab engkau nampak muka mirip dengan dia.
Pelbagai ancaman mula terdedah.
Kesalahan besar ni awak pegang isi orang ni.
Yang lagi membimbangkan terlibat dalam aktiviti jenayah.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Wanita hari ini.
Makan bersama, melancong bersama tapi tetap rasa sunyi.
Ramai kawan tapi sunyi, kita bincangkan Isnin.
Menu kemasin hidangan tradisional yang ringkas.
Kaya dengan rasa, boleh bertambah selera.
Sekolah awal usia beri banyak manfaat.
Tapi kena seimbang antara belajar dan juga bermain.
Serangan jantung dalam kalangan wanita.
Jangan abaikan tanda-tanda awal.
Syirah susah juga kalau terlalu tak suit dengan pasangan ni kan?
Jangan sampai sayang bertukar racun.
Semuanya di Wanita Hari Ini TV3.
Dan stream sekarang ditonton.
Wanita Hari Ini.
On to the foreign front. At least 18 people have died after a ferry carrying 344 people sank in the waters off Philippines' southern coast. The accident occurred after midnight on Monday as the passenger vessel MV Trisha Kirsten 3 was en route to Jolo Island in southern Sulu after departing the port city of Zamboanga. The vessel issued a distress signal at 1:50 a.m. local time, about 4 hours after departing Zamboanga City. It sank in good weather nearly 2 kilometers from the island village of Baluk-Baluk in Basilan province, where many survivors were initially brought. The Coast Guard commander in Mindanao said the ferry had been cleared before leaving Zamboanga port and there were no signs of overloading. The Philippine Coast Guard said at least 317 people have so far been rescued, with 18 confirmed dead and 10 still unaccounted for amid an ongoing search and rescue operation that also involves Navy and Air Force assets. An investigation was underway to determine the cause of the accident. U.S. President Donald Trump said his administration is reviewing everything after immigration agents fatally shot 37-year-old intensive care nurse Alex Pretty in Minneapolis. In comments to the Wall Street Journal on Sunday, Trump declined to say whether the officer's actions in the Minneapolis shooting were appropriate. He also indicated federal agents would eventually withdraw from the city, though he did not give a timeline. The death of Pretty in the second fatal shooting of a U.S. citizen by federal immigration officers in Minneapolis in less than 3 weeks has intensified protests. Demonstrations continued in Minneapolis and other U.S. cities as Minnesota Governor Tim Walz warned that the nation was at an inflection point. Still in the U.S., a monster storm barreling across swathes of the country has killed at least 17 people and prompted mass flight cancellations and power outages as freezing conditions persisted into Monday. The deaths were reported in New York, Tennessee, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Kansas, Pennsylvania, and Texas. More than 840,000 customers were without power as of Sunday, mostly across the southern region. At least 20 states, along with the capital Washington, declared states of emergency. Over 10,000 flights have also been canceled, and schools and roads across the country have been closed. As the storm spread snow, sleet, and freezing rain across a wide region, officials warned that an Arctic air mass behind it would bring dangerously low temperatures for days, prolonging disruptions. Myanmar's dominant pro-military party has won junta-run elections after a month-long vote that democracy watchdogs dismissed as a rebranding of army rule. A senior official from the Union Solidarity and Development Party, USDP, on Monday said the party already won a majority and is ready to form a new government. Many analysts describe the USDP as a civilian proxy of the military, which seized power in a 2021 coup, toppling the democratic government of Aung San Suu Kyi. This follows the vote's third and final phase, which took place on Sunday. Official results are expected later this week. Switching to sports, squash, the 2026 Tournament of Champions. National player S. Siva Sangari staged a gritty comeback to reach the quarterfinals in New York on Sunday. World number 6 player came back from a 2-game deficit to defeat world number 11 Amanda Sobey of the United States 6-11, 7-11, 11-9, 11-9, 11-4 in a 55-minute second-round match. The 5th seed will next face 4th seed Olivia Weaver, who swept past fellow American Marina Stefanoni. In the men's draw, Ng Ian Yao was eliminated after England's 8th seed Marwan El Shorbagi proved too strong. Despite winning the first 2 games 11-4, 15-13, Ian Yao dropped the next 3 9-11, 6-11, 7-11 in an 81-minute contest. Of the popular pandas, which are set to return to China, leaving Japan without the beloved animals for the first time in half a century. With that, I'm Natasha Busst. Thank you for watching and take care.